Hello, my beautiful friends, and happy 2018. Just want to check in with you guys and give you some updates. Obviously, if you're interested in purchasing a year ahead reading, I'm offering those on my website below till the end of the month. Okay, so 1/31 will be the last day I'm taking bookings for those. As you've heard me talk about prior, I do want to travel in 2018 to host some events around America. Right now, it's looking amazing for New York City, the Bay, and Orlando. Okay, I need at least a crowd of 15 to 20 people at minimum to host these events. It's looking like I could definitely do that in those cities. So drop comments below if you think that your city could, rustle up that many people, and we'll see what we can do. Also, obviously, as you can see, I don't always get around to general love readings every month, and that's because creating content takes time, and obviously my private clients come first. Now, the readings that you're watching right now will always be free and will always be done every single month, and they will be available to you. However, I want to be able to do these in-person events. I want to be able to offer you guys more free content in a different capacity and more paid services. So in order to do that, I'm considering making the monthly general love readings by pay subscription. It wouldn't be the kind where you rent them through YouTube. It would be something where you'd go to my site and you'd pay $2 or less, between $1.50 and $2. And on the 2nd of every month, it will be dropped in your email inbox as a private YouTube video, kind of like how if you've ever had a private reading with me, how those are delivered. So like I said, this isn't an effort because I don't want to raise my prices. I love the prices that I have. I think that I'm very accessible to my clients, and I want to continue it being that way. So in order to continue expanding and offering you guys more, that is my idea. Please let me know what you think if you'd be interested in something like that. As well as the lovely jewelry that I'm rocking today is from Gray Baby Gallery, who's based in LA. She has an Etsy store. I actually found her when I was shopping for myself this Christmas. And what's amazing is her stuff is so affordable. And every single cent goes to helping to provide medical care and food for the LA homeless pets. So if you're interested, check her out below. And as always, if you need anything from me, if you want to get in touch with me, all that information is below. Love you guys. Overall, I feel that the energy is lightening up for you. I feel like, what is that song? Total Eclipse of the Heart? I feel like that's relevant for you right now. I was seeing like an eclipsed sun, but it was lifting. It was lifting. And I do feel a levity in my heart space. But there's also a message to not go blind. Okay? And isn't it true that if you stare at the eclipse, you'll go blind? So it's almost as if like you don't need to look directly at the problem for it to eclipse out of your life. Okay? There's just a need for you to continue doing you and continue doing what's on your mind and continue what's doing on your heart. Any external noise or presentations that you're finding, things that are getting brought up to you, is really not your concern. We have the Six of Cups on the bottom of the deck. We have the King of Swords and the Fool. So the key to starting over, or the key to this levity, because look how brightly that sun is shining in this image. And he's got the sun at his back, right? So he's leaving that behind. So it's like what has been eclipsed, you now walk forward into the future. Behind that is the Ten of Cups. Okay. This was Cancer's overall energy, by the way. Now, with the Six of Cups here, it's definitely important to leave the past in the past. And there's nothing to be changed. And there's nothing to be gained really from the past. It happened and it had its purpose at the time, but there's nothing left to rectify. There's nothing left to change. As it relates to the King of Swords here, again, there's a need to detach from anything that has molded you up until now. And it's not that the funny thing about the past, right, is that it molds us into the person that we are today. For better or worse. Like, even if we hate what happened to us, even if we hate the people that we encountered, even if we hate, the trauma that we endured, the upbringing that we had, whatever, it still made us who we are today, and that is a gift. Okay? So there's nothing that you need to change about this path. There's nothing that you need to atone for. Okay? Everything unfolded exactly how it was supposed to. Notice how every one of these cups has a flower in it. Everything has bloomed. Everything has hit full bloom as well. There's nothing left to manifest from your old experiences. So there's a need to really approach them in a more logical manner, and to really kind of cut away your emotional attachment to them and honor those experiences for what they were. With the Nine of Cups behind this, other people may not get it, and other people may want to drag you back into those old experiences. Yeah, because we have the Queen of Cups here. People may, you know, there's a tendency to be triggered by the past or things that remind us of the past, but you need to have a fine level of discernment. Again, with the King of Swords, you need to have a really fine-tuned comb of discernment when it comes to, am I being triggered because I haven't let that go yet? Or am I being reminded of a past situation because it is exactly the same as the old one and I need to get out of here? Okay, there's a very I almost said high end, fine line. So really sit into your heart and ask yourself, when something reminds you of the past, is it because you have yet to let that go and you are scared that it is going to repeat, or are you actually in a repetitive cycle? You know what I mean? Because people can be amazing for us. People can have amazing intentions for us and love us and be extremely nurturing to our spirit, but they do one thing that triggers an old part of ourselves, an old pain, an old trauma, and suddenly we feel like that whole person is trash. You know what I'm saying? So there needs to be a really high level of consideration to why you're being triggered and what that means for you. Especially if you have air in your chart, an air sign moon, I'm feeling particularly. You know? All right, let's get into your spread. All right, Leo. I definitely feel there is a slight overlap with Cancer. For those of you that have either a sun, moon, or rising, you know, in Cancer, along with Leo, I feel there is a little bit of a lap there. So I need to mention a song that came to my head, and I believe it was a Fabulous line from an old Nicki Minaj song. It was money ain't everything. Money is the only thing. If you don't treat her like a queen, you're gonna be a lonely king. And I say that because there's this belief that you're fighting with right now, Leo, about money and about needing a certain amount of money and financial and physical comfortability to feel set and to be able to, for those of you that are not married, be able to step into a physical relationship, to be able to step into a serious relationship. There's this belief that you need to be like 100% secure. And in some ways that's extremely admirable, like not wanting to be codependent on somebody, and not that you that having money can stop you from being codependent, but not having money also doesn't automatically make you codependent. And it's not even like you're broke. This isn't like the energy of being broke. It's just like there's a fear around building something with someone else, and learning together with somebody. There's this level of individuality and solidarity that you have been like really, really isolating yourself to keep. Okay? Overall, we have the Three of Pentacles. So there's this desire to build something reputable, I feel. It's like the beginning of your empire, if you will. But notice how in the Three of Pentacles, there's a mason, there's like a helper, and there's like someone else that's like reading off a manual, right? There's other people involved in the process. Rome wasn't built in a day. Shit, if you read the Bible, like God didn't even build the world in one day, you know, and that's like the Almighty Creator. If that's how you're rocking, you know what I mean? So independence and the courage and determination that it requires to do what you're doing is extremely admirable, Leo. You need to know that. However, you cannot do everything alone forever. Okay? And there's just this need to like let people in a little bit to help you. They might not even need to help you as much as you think. You know what I mean? It's just this feeling of like, I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. I gotta make more money. I gotta get my stocks in order. I gotta get my credit in order. I gotta get my debt in order. I need my credit score high. And until then, it feels like love and friendship is on the back burner, and that's actually what is opening up to you. Please know that you have come far enough in your journey that you can discern whether or not someone that you're sharing time and space and energy with is draining you and draining you from your dreams, or if that person is supportive. And it's funny because we do have the devil at the heart of the reading, literally in your heart space with the rune disruption. And I was saying in the beginning about, are you feeling triggered because this person like cares about you and they're like that kind of soulmate where they bring up triggers so that you can clear them? Or are you feeling actually triggered because you genuinely are in a damaging type of situation? I'm going to be honest, Leo, I don't see any type of damaging tie here. I see you fighting off connection. I see you fighting off closeness out of fear that getting close to somebody will derail your plans. And that's a really understandable fear. That's something that I worry about myself. And I'm not even, I'm not a Leo. I do have Venus in Leo. But that's a totally understandable fear. And it's totally, common to have or whatever. Yeah, Page of Swords. However, is it serving you? Are you feeling overwhelmed by the burden? Because I see you as like sitting in your ivory tower, like counting your coins. Like, wasn't that King Midas who like locked himself away and used to just like count his gold all day? And he wanted to be wealthy so bad that he caught that. That's like the folklore, right? That he caught that disease, that everything he touched turned to gold, and that made him very isolated because he couldn't get physically close to anybody. So not saying that you're greedy, Leo. Definitely not. Definitely not. Some of you may be that are watching this, but that's not really how I'm feeling. But money is only a small portion. Physical security is only a small portion. And I don't want you to over-isolate yourself, okay? Because human connection and human closeness is so imperative to our soul lessons, to broadening our horizons, to coming into a new state of being, to building a tribe, to building a legacy, to building an empire, okay? What you're being asked to release is the King of Pentacles with the rune Luck and the Four of Swords. So again, like I was saying, this King of Pentacles definitely feels like an aspect of yourself. This does not feel like anybody else. I feel like all of these cards here are you. Potentially not this here. We'll get to that when the time comes. But I do feel every other aspect is you. With the Four of Swords here, I think in a lot of ways you, understandably so, wanted to detach from the pain that you've experienced. And from, again, those times that have deterred you from the money, have deterred you from your goals, have deterred you from creating your own stability. And you were like, you know what? So I'm going to withdraw my energy from everybody. I'm going to withdraw my energy from anything that has the potential to be distracting. And what I find so interesting about this card is, yes, it's about, withdrawal and renewing yourself. But it comes to a point, this comes from a Virgo who, hello, is ruled by the Hermit. It comes to a point where isolation is detrimental. Okay, there's a need to engage more with the people around you because you're coming to a point in your success where other people in some capacity can really help you. And at the very least, even if they're not investors, even if they're not people that are bouncing, financial ideas off of you or physical creation ideas off you, it's people that respect you and nurture you and love you. Because if you look in the stained glass window, there's a woman and a child looking over at the man that's resting. And because he's like bronze, like the color of this you know, thing that he's laying on, it almost to me seems like a monument, like a soldier that's been laid to rest. And the woman and child come to visit, you know, their father, the husband, and look at, you know, take a time of respite to see like, wow, like, you know, we miss you, whatever. It's almost this feeling of like the former you is dead. So that's why you also don't need to fear that you won't be able to maintain your level of wealth, your level of focus, your level of commitment if you start to engage with people again. You did need to take that time apart, but it's time now to really build with other people. It's time now to let other people close to you because your judgment is clear, okay? The door that's now open for you that was once closed, we have the Magician with the rune Love and the Seven of Wands with the rune Friendship. This is so interesting. Ah. So, with the Seven of Wands here in the rune Love, right? Or rather, Friendship, excuse me. Seven of Wands clarifying the Magician. So, love is so powerful, Leo. And hello, you're ruled by the sun. The sun is life force. You know, in the Magician has everything at his disposal. So you don't just need money to create these dreams. You don't need just physical, tangible things. You need the other elements too, and you've been ignoring them a little bit out of fear, and again, understandably so. You've had your passion and you have your coin. But now it's time to reinvest in logical, I almost said synapse. I don't even know why that's relevant. But it's time to, you know, reinvest in logical processes as well as emotional processes. And with love here, it's so like cliche, but it's like love moves mountains, Leo. Love can change anything. Love is the most commanding force in this universe. And obviously we have to love ourselves first and all that jazz. However, self-love is not also isolation. Sometimes it is. I just feel like you've overstayed your welcome in that capacity. And it's time to reignite and create change through the power of love. And notice how these two figures are alone. So it's not that you need other people to love in order to use the power of love. It's like you need to tap into yourself and trust what shows up. With the Seven of Wands here, if you have healthy boundaries, if you make it clear what is for you and what is not for you, especially in friendships, you know, because I feel like this is both. I feel like this is, obviously there's love present in friendships and that's important, but I also feel like this is having a lover who is first and foremost a friend. Okay? Like, you know now that that's essential. You know now that lust and sex, right? And all those like good, fun things are only part of the picture. They're only a small piece of the larger puzzle, especially when it comes to someone that you could spend the rest of your life with. Someone that you can build an empire with. Someone that is going to help you actualize your dreams. Okay? So, you know now the power of love. You know now the many facets and the ways that it is presented to you. So, friends are not here, like anyone that, let me say it like this. Anyone that is presenting this energy of like coming for you, in terms of like your spot, like if you feel like someone is threatening your position, that's not your friend. But also first reflect on that. I cut the deck and I got the Hierophant, and actually this came up as a clarifier for Cancer as well, and I was saying that before. And I was laughing in the Cancer video because I keep pulling the Hierophant in my personal readings on myself, and it's not a card I see very often, and it's an interesting card. But again, because we have the Emperor and the Empress here, I do feel like this is a lot about marriage and commitments and the type of how do I want to say it? The type of spiritual bonds and spiritual ties and contracts that will take you into the future. And it's important to give yourself credit for the lessons that you've learned in friendship and in love, and how empowering and how much that has taught you about drawing boundaries. So, because if you continue to isolate yourself, it's almost like you're saying, well, I didn't learn the lesson. 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 But you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting offers and opportunities to start to build something. Okay? So it's really about trusting yourself again. I know that you lost trust in yourself, and you lost trust more than anything in the judgment of your heart. But it's safe now. Your energy as it relates to all this. In your head, we have the Star. In your heart, we have the Devil with the Ruin Disruption. And in your foundation, we have the Three of Wands. So we have 3 threes here. Okay? This is absolutely about progress, absolutely about expansion, absolutely about where your life is headed in a much bigger way. With the 3 of Wands in your foundation, the key to stepping into not only your power, but into the power of love and into the power of commanding a life that you have always dreamed of is through knowing your self-worth and being seen for that, even if it makes you vulnerable in the process. Because vulnerability, and this has been coming up almost in every single sign's reading. So the Star is a huge theme right now for every zodiac sign, about having faith in yourself and being willing to be seen and be vulnerable regardless of what has happened in the past when you were unguarded and when you were out exposed. And I need you to know that before vulnerability feels like strength, it will feel like you're fragile. It will feel like it's detrimental to the armor and the stone castle that you have built around yourself. Okay? But there is so much more to be gained when we step away from the former way that we have lived life. Okay? With the Devil in your heart space, there are fears that are blocking you, straight up. There are fears that are blocking you and disrupting your ability to believe in yourself and believe in love. And when I say love, I mean it in all forms. But I do feel like there is a tone here of family, marriage, even if it's a second marriage, or just commitment in general. Like, you know, leading a life where someone else needs to be considered. There's a fear here a little bit about merging with another person and losing yourself. And again, as a individual, I can totally relate to that, Leo. It is terrifying when you have been in codependent situations before, especially with women, or because you were raised with a mother that somehow made you codependent. Which again, we all function on codependency in some capacity. There's this fear you have that it's just going to play out again and again, and like it has more power over you than you have over it. Okay, but that's only as true as you allow it to be. Yeah, 9 of Crystals. You are so independent and you have everything on your own. 3 of Cups. It is safe for you. So now we have 4 threes. It is safe for you to build and love and share and commiserate with other people, because you are, at the end of the day, the King of Wands. You will always be independent, courageous, and going after any and everything that warms your heart. Yes, you may have made mistakes in the past. We all did. But again, they molded us. So there's a need to trust. Please, please, please trust yourself. Trust that the fears that are coming up right now are coming up to be cleared. Okay? They're not coming up because what is going on is going to play out again. It's not a premonition. Okay? It's a cellular release. And on a collective level, this is happening in a big way. You know, this Saturn and Capricorn shift is really testing our will to create a life that we have always dreamed of. And every time that we're slacking on our macking a little bit, we're going to get checked. So yes, this does take extreme levels of courage, and it takes extreme levels of dedication. But don't be afraid to let other people help you. Okay, because with the Star in your head, I know that you're fixated on the dream. On the dream, on the dream, on the dream. And you should be. But you need to rejuvenate your spirit. You need to get back in touch with how you really feel, because dreams are fueled by emotion as well as practical action, right? Because if we can't perceive from the inside out what it is we even really care about, how can we go and take inspired action? So don't be afraid to let your thoughts be seen either. There's a need to be vulnerable with the things that bounce around in your head. again, you have the discernment to know which friends love you and will protect your spot. I feel like this is also like keeping people close to you that will keep you on your toes. Okay? Spirit's advice for you is the Empress with the rune Trust and the High Priestess. For some of you, there's a need to trust a woman in your life, regardless of your sex. There's a need to trust a woman in your life that is extremely in tune with herself and with the divine and with you know, psychic energy, the energy around you, the occult. And I don't think she's the Empress. I see her as the High Priestess, which is a Moon and Scorpio card. Which is me, hey. And I feel she's here to advise you, especially as it relates to your ability to trust yourself, your ability to trust women, again, regardless of your sex, and your ability to trust in your innate worthiness of having wealth and security and abundance without having to like physically go and do the most to have it all the time. For some of you, this is also doing, you know, quote, shadow work around the relationship that you had with your mother. I know I said there's overlap here with Cancer. I told Cancer to come back to finding the trust of the divine mother. If this is not someone that you're consulting, again, this is through your dreams or through meditation or through spiritual work, maybe journaling, gratitude journaling. There's a need to get back in touch with your innate trust in the divine and the fact that you will always be taken care of when you lead with your heart. Okay? So we're not functioning out of fear, we're functioning out of love, because love cannot coexist with fear. Okay? They negate one another. So it just needs to be a revival. Yeah. You may be having, this is definitely the moon, with the moon here, you probably have been having dreams. If you've been having dreams about different things that are kind of like disturbing, or just you don't really know what to make of them, definitely document them in some capacity, either writing them down or open like voice recording on your phone or whatever. And yeah, these are dreams you're having. And I know that you're confused, and I think you're confused by them. But your intuition is trying to speak to you, and it's really trying to teach you and guide you back to your personal power and how feminine power, right? Again, whether you're a man or a woman, feminine power that we all have, it stirs below the surface. And it's this innate knowing that like, I am worthy, therefore I can command what I need and what I want through just knowing my worthiness. So there's a need to trust in that again. Yeah, Five of Swords, because right now you're fighting a fight that is a waste of time. Whether it be verbally or intuitively, you're fighting a fight that is a waste of time. You're fighting fire with fire. And you may think that you're burning the other person, but ultimately you're burning yourself out. Okay? So, please, you know, dream work is something that I'm going to teach in the near future. It's something that I do a lot of. I just want to spend a little bit more time crafting my ideas before I share them with you all. But that's something I also offer as a service to get clarity on dreams. In my Siren Squad support service, which you can find through my website. It's where we talk over email. You get access to me for a month for $25. Not to plug, but that just seemed really relevant because it's not cards. It's just like talking. And dreams are an amazing language that I feel is going to rise in the collective consciousness a lot in the next year or two and going forward. And once you tap into the dream realm in a way that you can apply to the physical realm, you can change a lot and move through a lot of heaviness and density and fear without having it all to play out on this reality. You can play it out in dreams and clear things a lot quicker. Okay. The most likely outcome is the Emperor with the rune Journey and the Nine of Swords. So Cancer had this card in the exact same place as well, but had a different card here than the Emperor. So there's a stoicism to the Emperor that I don't love. So again, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take the journey too seriously. This process, it's a process. This life, doesn't matter how old you are, this life that we're living is a process. And it is important to trust in the power of the feminine just as much as the masculine. Okay? Leo is an innately masculine energy. It's life force. It's amazing, but it needs to be balanced out. The sun is balanced with the moon, right? Leo, sun, you know, and then Cancer, moon. Ooh, interesting. So there's a need to find harmony in all things. And as you go on building this empire, right, there will always be things that worry you, but don't let them keep you up at night. And again, please, please, please start to share these fears and concerns and worries with people that love you, that you know love you, okay? Because they want to support you and they're here for you. Don't let fear distract you from the fact that there are people around you that care. My heart is the center of my power. I follow my heart. I create easily and effortlessly when I let my thoughts come from the loving space of my own heart. Well, isn't that clear? And right now you have it a little clogged. But Four of Swords, meditation will take you out of that. Four of Crystals and bring you back into security and stability. Okay? Leo, I love you guys so much. And I'll catch you again soon. Peace.